Hello everybody, just finished my base turn here on final runway 16 in Thessaloniki on the ILS, and going to make this video to share my P3D v2.5 settings. I'm using a GTX980 graphics card from EZCA and a 4790k processor overclocked at 4.6 gigahertz. I'm going to be touching down here and then going through some of my settings and what I do for VAS issues and what I do as far as global and vector and rec settings and all that good stuff to make your simulator look absolutely fantastic. So just flying over Thessaloniki City here on final. Kind of cloudy right now. Took off from Geneva, and the second I touch down here I will be showing you guys lots of good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and slow down even more so we've got some more time to chat. Go ahead and set flaps 3. Go ahead and set my auto brakes to medium. We'll do low. Save those brakes. And at the 1000 call out, I'm going to go ahead and put my gear down. I'm going to arm my speed brakes and hopefully touching down shortly. Got some windows here. Looks gorgeous. Nice frame rate right now. Got some clouds. Looking at 60 frames wing view and anywhere between 30 and 40, I'd say, frames on final. So go ahead and give full flaps. Gonna give the gear down and go down here to 145 on the speed, and got my gear down warning, but I've already put it down. 3 green. 3 green, full flaps, speed brake armed, auto brake set to low, and I'll take it from here. So I have control. Lost my glass up a little bit. Was looking at my capture. That's what happens. I'm trying to do 2 things at once. A little low. That's fine. I've got some winds there. Retard my engines, give some flare, and touchdown. Give some reverse thrust, center up there, touchdown at Thessaloniki, and I'm going to be going through my settings now. Hopefully you can achieve the exact same thing. I'm running as stable as possible right now. I'd say it's as stable as I've ever been. So look forward to sharing them with you. Those are the loud brake sounds that Aerosoft has. And look at that. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here and quickly go through my menu. So VSync is completely off, triple buffer off, unlimited target frame rate, running a 4 times multi-sample anti-aliasing, and a 16-time texture filtering, anisotropic. Medium textures at 1024 by 1024. I'm going to go ahead and skim through here very quickly, and if you want my settings you can just pause them and you can have as much time in the world as you like. Max load radius, tessellation factor, I went high. I found that it's a lot smoother and more stable with that high, and to be honest with you, not that much of a difference to the eye. At least I can't see that much. Mesh resolution, I'm using the Pilot's FTX Global 2010, 5 meters, and as per Global's manual, 15 centimeters for texture resolution. Works great for me. Very dense scenery complexity, dense on the vegetation and building density. Excuse me. Moving along here. Lighting. No HDR lighting for me. I don't like it. Well, I mean, it looks great at times, but not so much benefits. Sorry, not too many benefits for the cons that it gives me, based on the fact that I've invested my money in lots of add-ons that aren't ready for HDR. HDR. For example, KLAX from FS Dream Team looks absolutely horrible at night. So when HDR is ticked off, so just turn HDR off. I don't use HDR in P3D v2.5. Lens flare and landing lights illuminate ground is ticked off, however. Shutter quality set to medium. Doesn't really justify for me to go high. You see the frame drop and doesn't even look that much better, to be honest with you. My terrain does receive shadows, but I've taken that off just so I can do object shadow cast, based on the fact that if this isn't up, you won't get those cockpit shadows. They must cast and receive as well. My external vehicle, I don't receive shadows. When I switch to the outside view, it kind of lags. Even with I like to say pretty new hardware like the GTX 980. So I've taken off received. Weather, pretty self-explanatory. In fact, I actually do these settings through ASN, but we'll be heading off there. We'll be going there soon. So my traffic settings, I have nothing for aviation traffic. Road vehicles set to 5. I do use Ultimate Traffic 2 when I am on when I am on VATSIM. And that is it for my P3D v2.5 menu settings. Let's go ahead and move to my FTX Global settings. I'll be getting to my other settings shortly as well. So my FTX Global settings, or sorry, I should say Vector settings. It's just now with this new FTX Central 2, Global Vector settings are within FTX Central. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Settings here, Tools, and FTX Global Vector Configurator tool. I have tertiary roads unchecked, secondary roads unchecked. This saves me at least a few megabytes of VAS on every flight. I highly recommend actually you tick those off. Don't see that much of a difference. Water features ticked on, various features ticked on as well. Those are my vector settings. Go ahead and close that. I'm going to open up Rex here, and within Rex I find that a lot of my VAS savings are produced within Rex based on the fact that I use 512 by 512 clouds. Now, a lot of people don't like these settings, but I assure you, if you try 512 and give it a go, you will get a stable sim and you won't see that much of a difference. And I can prove that to you by some math. So 512 pixels, which is the width and height of these clouds. If you divide that by 72, and I'm using 72 because they are 72 pixels in 1 inch, and that gives you 7. So basically, if the clouds in the simulator are ever bigger than 7 inches, then you start to lose resolution, because then essentially you're blowing up the cloud. Now, at times you might say, well, it very well could be bigger than 7 centimeters. Well, that means you're pretty close to that cloud. So you're probably getting fully covered in the cockpit. All your windows are covered by that cloud, so you won't even see it that big anyways. I've always stuck with 512 by 512. I don't see a reason to go, bigger than that, or higher resolution than that, I should say. But anyways, those are my settings. I can get into that more, but kind of struck for time here. So my texture compression algorithms for my clouds, I do use DXT5. I find that it does a great job taking out those bits and bytes that you cannot see with your eyes anyways. Wave animation, however, I did leave it to 32 bits. So I want to get those 8 bits of red, 8 bits of green, 8 bits of blue, and 8 bits of alpha. And my DirectX, are just slammed kind of to the bottom. Highest DirectX build as possible for each one of these effects. As you noticed, I don't use HDR textures for P3D. I do have HDR off based on the fact that a lot of my add-ons that I've invested in over the years aren't HDR friendly or don't like HDR so much, so I leave that off. I don't touch my HDR in P3D. And another big thing, I've been using NVIDIA Control Panel and only the P3D menus from v2.2 all the way to v2.4. However, based on my testing, since P3D 2.5 has been released, I have gone back to NVIDIA Inspector profiles, and I find that for me, currently it does work best. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly share this with you. I use application settings for vertical sync, which I do have off in the actual menu. And the big part is I enhance my app settings, and I do use an 8x sparse grid super sample, which is pretty hefty. Those of you out there that don't have a GTX 980, I recommend going 4. I mean, even 4 looks great. But I do use 8x because I cannot stand shimmering, and I cannot stand those jagged edges. I think that's a rock band. Jagged edge. Anyways, my quality is set to performance. I haven't seen that much of a difference, to be honest with you, with this option here. So might as well just give it to performance. And my texture filtering optimization is set to off. And I do prefer to use maximum performance of my graphics card. Now, another thing I do, I guess you can call it things that I do, is I do use Asus's GPU tweaker. My GTX 980 is a base, well, I got it at launch day, so a lot of those superclocked versions of the GTX 980 and overclocked versions from the manufacturer were not really available. I mean, well, they were available, but I mean, I just didn't indulge in those right off the bat. I did get a kind of a normal reference version EVGA GTX 980 that I am overclocking, and this GPU tweaker from Asus gives me a good performance increase, I'd say. I'd say anywhere between the range of 5 to 7 frames, and I am stable and keeping good temperatures. Again, I'm just using the referenced version fan. Nothing, like, I mean, I'm not pumping any water to my GPU, only my CPU, and I really recommend you give this a try. Don't go anything higher than I am. In fact, at 1400 boost clock, I actually do see a driver crash. But at 1380, I mean, for some odd reason, even though it's such a little difference, I haven't seen one ever. And it's stable as crap. Excuse my language. So I can go ahead and show you my processor settings now. In my BIOS, I've given a core temperature of 1.361 core voltage. I think it's great. It gives me 4.6 gigahertz absolutely stable. I've even gone up to 4.8, 4.7, but at that high of a multiplier, I don't see a benefit in P3D v2.5, so I've come down to 4.6, kept those temperatures nice, and don't even see a difference in my simming. Finally, my config file is very easy. Since I am on a 4790k, I'm not hyper-threading. So I have 4 cores, 4 physical cores. I use Infinity Mask 15. Benefits me the most out of all these options that Infinity Mask gives you. You can find more information on those. I'm not going to go through Infinity Mask right now. And just recently, on Awesome, optimized parts equals 1. Benefits me, gives me about 5 to 6 frames, I'd say, average more per flight. Now, you see the biggest difference using the PMDG add-ons, using the 777, using the 7.3, and with the Aerosoft, I haven't seen that much of a boost, but it is there. I mean, the overall smoothness is, I'd say, better. Maybe a little bit of a placebo, but I definitely do use the optimized parts equals 1 tweak. I haven't seen any cons yet that come along with that. There were reports that they might have some jetway issues, but my jetways work absolutely fine. So that's it for me. I mean, that's what I do for my P3D v2.5. Hopefully this helped you out. Hopefully you have roughly the same hardware as me, so it actually benefits you and helps you with your flying. It's a great hobby. Cheers. See you later.